As a DJ, do you rely on streaming services as your primary or only method of getting your music? Maybe you should change that. Let's talk about that. So I'm filming this just right after New Year's 2025, and two big services, KaraFun, which is a big karaoke service, and Tidal, which of course is a big streaming service, went down New Year's Eve. What a time to be down. And on Reddit, on Facebook, and other places, people were panicking. And I was seeing all this and I was like, oh man, you really should not be using this as your primary source. And more DJs are relying less on music pools or even things like ripping CDs or even ripping vinyl, and relying on the streaming services to be their primary or sometimes even their sole use of music. Now, I'm not anti-technology whatsoever. These are great as a fill-in service when you have a spur-of-the-moment type of request and all that. I personally don't even rely on those. I maintain a pretty healthy library, and if a guest comes up and asks for a song that I don't have, I simply just don't have the song. And I, of course, always make sure that I deep dive with my clients to make sure I have all the materials necessary for their event. But more and more, some DJs are just skipping those steps and just going right to Tidal, going to these other services, and just streaming. And again, streaming itself isn't a bad thing per se, but your client paid for you to come here and play. What happens when you don't have access to that? It could be because, the broadband access, be it from, over their Wi-Fi or data access to your hotspot or your phone, is just not available at that location. What do you do? In addition, the software that you use does have to phone home from time to time. When you're streaming these services, it has to validate whether you have a valid license or not. If you don't have access and you're at that time where it has to validate, guess what? You're not going to be able to play that music. So even if you have local storage, which some of these services do, they'll let you save sometimes hundreds or even a couple thousand songs locally. That's no good if it doesn't have access to your license. On top of all that, the labels that own this music can and has many times pulled music from certain providers. If they have some type of disagreement with their licensing agreement with that service, they have the right to pull it. People probably remember TikTok, and they had that big brouhaha with one of the major publishers. That didn't get restored for quite a while. And while of course TikTok has nothing to do specific for DJ playback, it's just a reminder that streaming services are at the behest of the major copyright holders. So as a DJ, especially as a new DJ, what do you do? Well, again, I don't want to discount using streaming services. It's fine to fill in the gaps, but just don't rely on it primarily. Do things like subscribe to music pools, but you can't always go back way back. This is where like CDs still come into play. Lots of greatest hit compilations, soundtracks, Time Life. There's a dense availability of music that doesn't quite cost a lot. If you just grab, an external CD ripper, this is a recorder and all that too, but I think I paid $15 for that. It's super fast, and I churn through collections. I still go onto eBay, find a big lot of music, and I'll buy it. This is part of the business. This is part of cultivating what your style, what your music theory is, and what your soul is, and all that. Buy it. Be an owner of music. Collect this stuff. But once you do that, now you have your own personal collection that you're not at the behest of a copyright owner that might say, you know what? We're not working with Tidal anymore. We're not working with Spotify. We're not working with Apple Music, whatever the soup de jour streaming service that's out there. On top of all this, not every streaming service, even though it is available on DJ software, actually has the right licensing to playback. Now, nobody's sued yet, and this hasn't been really pushed in court recently. But if the copyright holders really wanted to sink their teeth into something and really just sue the hell out of somebody, they could easily do it. So just be on your P's and Q's here. Be in the mentality of, the technology is fine as a supplemental service. Just don't rely on it exclusively. Well, there's a video. I really hope you liked it. If so, please share this out and hit that thumbs up. Go ahead, look below. Q platform, give that a try. Something I've been working on for a while. I don't care if you're a DJ, photographer, videographer, and whatnot. Give that a look. Stay tuned for more.